Okay, I want to say shalom, and it is the Sabbath, so I will say Shabbat shalom. And I want to first give all honor and glory and praises to the Most High Power, the Heavenly Father, and to His only begotten Son, our Messiah, the Creator of heaven and earth. And I am doing this video as usual, based on some occurrences and things. But I figured I would speak on them biblically. And, as usual to, give I guess comfort to anyone that, may have, experienced, the same thing, the true and sincere followers or those that truly and sincerely speaking to follow our Creator and our Father in spirit and in truth, as Saint John tells you. And you know what? I might just go there. I'm gonna go there first because it's very relevant. Um, the reality is that even as the scriptures say, a lot of people will claim that they love our God and love the Messiah, but then when it actually comes, as I mentioned often, and it's just facts. It's just facts. You will notice that in this society in general, whether you're on the blessed level of understanding the truth and how this is the foundation of everything, period. Or if you look at it on just everyday experiences, you can, you can see the hypocrisy, that spirit that's in this earth. But that's not what I want to focus on necessarily right now. But it is. So I'm gonna go to oh yeah, this is perfect. A lot of times I write things down, which I did write some things down, but a lot of times I also just, when, I have experienced certain things to the point where it's so many, as I've mentioned before, several things that take place. Whereas though biblically, I thought I would speak on it. And this occurrence was so major, such a major thing in my life. But the fact of the matter is, I think, and I'm also going to go into all of that. It's based on your mindset, and yeah, um, and based on what treasures you were seeking, and and that's just a fact. So, um, that's trying to work, but you know, I had another pencil. Okay, I got to work anyway. All praise to the Most High. But yeah. So I actually, and this is such a blessing. I actually already had something written here in reference to that. But what I first said that I wanted to go to was Saint John, um, chapter 4. And then I'm gonna go to um, Matthew because, and I believe it's Matthew 13, but let me get John first. Okay. All right, John chapter 4 and verse I can start at 21. But we'll go to just for the sake of time and for the point, that I want to bring out. And it'll all come out, because see, this occurrence really, but let's let's okay. So this is John chapter 4, verse 24. All right. Well, let's go to 23. We'll start at 22. Ye know ye worships like, let me start it right. So this is John chapter 4, verse 22. And if you don't know, but the Messiah is speaking to a Samaritan woman who most likely is another nation, because once again, as I've gone into many times, we can read about this in Kings. Um, the kingdom of Israel, for the most part, was gone because they had been gone out of the land because they had been then in the time of King Solomon, after he, um, you know, committed spiritual fornication and he dealt with other strange women who caused him to turn from the Most High. His heart was turned from the Most High. Did not walk perfectly like his father David. Worshipped idols, built idols, for his strange wives. Okay, which is why the Most High said, "Don't deal with that." And I've gone into that and other things, so I don't want to focus too much on it right now at this point. But when you read that history in Kings, once I believe it was Manasseh that carried the 10 tribes captive, and then they came over to the Americas, which I believe, and that's a whole other thing. But um, um, for the most part, they were gone. But as you do hear about remnants of them being in the land, like as I've gone into before, like the prophetess Anna, and also I think that's very special and beautiful. If you know about um, uh, Asher's daughter. Okay, when you read about that in Jasher, I think it's Jasher or Jubilee, but how Jacob blessed her, okay, because she sung so beautifully to him and prepared his heart to receive the understanding that Joseph was still alive. And so, if you take note of that, that's a really beautiful thing. And I think that may have something to do with that. I'm not sure, just my thoughts, spiritually on it, my perception of it, because she is of the tribe of Asher, and it's the daughter of Asher. So and she was blessed to experience that. And so I think that could tie, but I'm not gonna say that's right. But not to go too far off, but so you understand, but the point about it is that you understand that for the most part the 10 tribes were not there. Okay, and so this Samaritan woman most likely is a Gentile because Gentiles were put into the lands of Samaria, and Levites had to come and teach them because the Most High was destroying them. Okay, because of the things that they were committing in the lands. But you can read about that in Kings. But I believe that that's why, for the most part, the Messiah told the disciples not to go into the land of Samaria or the way of the Gentiles into now. So you understand at this time in the New Testament, for clarity, there were the other heathens, but then there were the Israelites who also were living in that uh, way of life. And so they were also called the Gentiles. And as you understand that is, for the most part, who the apostles were going to, the scattered Israelites. And you can get that understanding in many scriptures, so many, but just for one, read in John chapter 7 when they're asking, where's the Messiah going? Where is he going? Will he go and teach the dispersed amongst the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? And that's exactly what happened. When you read in the books of Acts, I could get that right quick, but it is John chapter 7, or then when you read in uh, James, the first chapter, when it talks about the scared. I mean, it's really all throughout, especially really all throughout the New Testament as well. It's just a matter of understanding. So, but this here, I believe, is an actual Gentile because of what the history of what happened. And that's why he told them not to go into Samaria, into ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Okay, he tells them that in Matthew. I believe it's Matthew 15, or is it 10? Let's see right quick, just so that I like to be clear on what I'm saying, so that you understand. I don't want to go too far off, but just so it's understood that this is a woman of another nation. Yes, so it was 10. It's 10 and 6. 10 and 5 through 6. Okay, these 12. Yeshua sent forth his 5 and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And this is very important, just all the way around. And something that I always mention when I start, the time that we're in. And go ye, but women, sorry, verse 7, Matthew 10 and 7, and as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Okay, and then he commands him to heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely he had received, freely give. Okay, and that's very, very blessed and holy and pertinent, especially consider the times that we're in now. But I'm not gonna go there. But um, you know, that is, and that's what the apostles were doing, though. That's what they did when they went to. And when you read all through Acts, like you will see clearly that it was Israelites, as I've gone into that before, who were the true initial Christians. Okay, the true, as you would call it. Of course, we know Christ and Christian is a Greek term, but the followers of the Messiah. And I've gone into that before, but I just wanted to go through that just in case anyone, doesn't I had to understand it. But you can find plenty of lessons on that. About how, for the most part, the Gentiles, especially in the New Testament, are speaking of the Israelites. Okay, and I've touched on that before when we were speaking about the Messiah and the publicans and sinners that he's speaking to and talking to, that the chief priests could not understand why he was associating with them, but they were the ones that needed to know about repentance and to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of their God, because they were Israelites, for the most part, Israelites who were living in a Gentile state of mind. It's very much like the situation is today, but the difference is that a lot of our people knew, who they were. They knew who they were, okay, as a nationality, though. Like, that has been taken from us, as you read in Jeremiah 17:4. But, I've gone into this in many videos, and that also has to do with bringing prophecy forth, because Deuteronomy 28 cannot apply. Deuteronomy 28, and I believe it's around 47, or where it says for a sign and a wonder. Okay, that can't apply if the people had never lost their identity. And Jeremiah 17:4, it can't apply if we had not been discontinued from our heritage. Okay, because of disobedience and breaking the covenant with our heavenly Father. Okay, so but all that but just so it's clear what is going on here. So he's in the lands of Samaria. Okay, but he is speaking to a Gentile woman. It seems to be pretty evident. I don't know for sure. I don't like, but it's pretty clear though. Because when you read what he says to her before this. So, but that is the situation that's going on, okay? He's telling her, okay, ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews, okay? And it's why I especially believe that is a Gentile woman, especially because you have to understand that when we go into Acts, and I'll just go where the Spirit takes me, just so it's clear. But just so it's clear, um, and when you go in Isaiah and all throughout, even when you go all the way back to the New Testament, the Gentiles that cleaved unto us, all right, got their salvation through us, because why? Let's get this. Why is that? All right. Romans chapter 3:1. What advantage hath the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Now, of course, now we know that that's that spiritual circumcision, but also that was a law. It all ties into it, because there was a law of the Jews to be circumcised. Okay, but that had to do with the covenant. But let's read this. What advantage then hath the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Too much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of the Most High, or of God, as it says here. Okay, so that is, and that all ties into that. All right, and you'll read that in Isaiah. I would like to get that, because it needs to be understood that we were supposed to be a light for the Gentiles. The nation of Israel, was supposed to be the example for the world. Okay, to show men the righteous way to deal. Okay, the righteous way to be and to deal. All right. So, So we'll go back. This is 22. Ye worship, ye know not what, for we know what we worship. For salvation is of the Jews. Why? And I could also go to Baruch, and I probably should go right quick because it's very, you know, even if you go to Psalms, okay, he showed his word, his statutes, and his judgments to Jacob. That's Israel. That's that's the Israelites. Okay, the Jews are the southern kingdom of Israel, but the most likely Judah, or really there's no J's, but for the most part, understand that but at this time, in the land, what was going on, the Israel, like I said before, when I initially was the 10 tribes were gone. They were called Israel or Ephraim. The three southern tribes were called Judah. Okay, well, the Jews, but it consisted of the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Levi, and the tribe of Benjamin. Okay, and once again, that history about that, you can read about that in Kings because it was split because of King Solomon's disobedience to the Lord, to the Most High. Okay, but yeah, so salvation is of the Jews, as it says here. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. Ahia, or God, as it says here, is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Now, even after all that, but why did I go here, and why is it so important? Based on these occurrences that had taken place, and how it just really, I felt biblically that I had to speak on it because it really affected me. But it's very important to remember our mind state, and I'm gonna go to that. But first, I want to go to and that's Romans 12. Okay, I don't know. We'll find it, but I'm gonna go to Matthew now. Okay, and I'm gonna stay in Matthew for a little bit because it all is relevant, but all this ties is so relevant and pertinent because people will say that they love the Most High, and when it actually comes down to trials and certain situations, um, you know, he'll try you. He'll try your heart, and based on a conversation with someone that I used to be best friends with in the world, but I still, pray for this person, that they do come to the truth. Um, they do accept the Messiah. Of course, most of our people do, which once again, which what we're talking about, why I'm going here, and also the occurrence that took place, and something that was said to me, and the whole situation really upset me and touched me in the first place, really. And then after that conversation, I was even more, it did, kind of made me think. But at the same time, this is why we must study and we must examine ourselves, whether we be in the faith. And I just am in case, just where the spirit works, if, you know, could be some encouragement to anyone that also may have had to face a situation like this. So, Matthew 13. Yeah. Okay. And this is the parable of the sower. But let's see. Yes, okay. So this is Matthew 13 and 18. I'll start at 18. So hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which is sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside. Okay, so it wasn't much for the adversary to come and not let that seed take root. Okay, Um, but he, verse 20, he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended. Okay? Let's go to, and I've seen all these, just such all these situations, but that was really the one that I wanted to focus on, but also all this, all right? But 22, he also that receives seed among the thorns is he that hears the word, and the care of this world, perfect, and deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. But he, verse 23, but he that received seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit, and bringeth forth some an hundredfold, some 60, some 30. Um, so I really wanted to go there, and so I now want to go to something else in Matthew, and it's all going to tie. Then I'm going to go to something else in Matthew, and it's all going to tie. Okay, based on the situation. Now I'll bring it all up. Okay, so this is Matthew 15 now. And um, yes, I'll start at I'll start at I could start at 6. Yeah, I'll start at 6. All right, this is Matthew 15 and 6. All right. And honor not his father. Well, let's start at 1. We'll just start at 1. All right. So then came Yeshua, or Jesus as it says here, scribes. Then came to Yeshua scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do the disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of the Most High, or of God, as it says here, by your tradition? This is so key and pertinent, okay, to everything, all right? For God, as it says here, for God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother, and he that curseth father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me. Okay? And a lot of people do this. They will, it's kind of like, they put so much into worship into their children. All right, a lot of people do that, but this is the saying. Basically, you're saying that the child is just such a gift, and these certain traditions of men that people come up with and things like that is more important to these people than the commandment of God, which was to honor your mother and father. But yet here you see and you see it clearly in the world. Anyone that has ears, eyes to see it, you can see that often. All right, but it's saying, but ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me. All right, so this would be the child saying this, okay, to the parent. All right, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have you made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition. All right, and you see it. People will use their children as um, you know, money makers, or and they put so much into, like, oh, I see it all the time. People, and the children take on this idea, and there's also this idea based on things like that, and traditions are formed like that, and people put more into that than what the Most High says. But let's just keep going. And honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have you made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition. Ye hypocrites. This is what I wanted to get to though. Ye hypocrites. Well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, this people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, okay, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. And what we read here is something to touch on, but I don't want to focus on. But you see that in this society so much. They boost children up so much, and they make it as if the um you know it's they have this right and they have that, and the children become very disrespectful. They feel like they don't have to listen to their parents because the parents can't discipline them this way and that and this and that, and a lot of you see that a lot when you read these first few verses here. You can look around and look at how it really applies here. Um, very much so, but even still though, but we're talking about tradition. So we're talking about basically the concept of the point of it, making traditions of men more important than the commandment of the Most High. And when it actually comes, and why I went to chapter 13, and I was speaking about when persecution or tribulation arise, then the word can be forgotten by a lot of people because you are going to be tried. And I've mentioned that so many times, and this was truly just a true. This situation was a trial, and then, like I said, once I had this conversation, it was like, wow, and you know, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna keep and not just that this and this is about this and many and several other things where the spirit take me but yeah, so ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy saying, "This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me." And that perfectly ties into something that I was mentioned before in one of my videos about you know um when it actually trying the reins, like Jeremiah 17, okay, he trieth the reins, okay, and it all ties because you are going to be tried. He really tries your heart. So you can say, and it goes into, and it's always easy to say this and that, and, it is. But when it actually comes down to doing something, um, that's when it really matters. And I've seen, I mean, even you can really genuinely have certain intentions, but the point of it is that what you actually do, you make sure you get done. That clearly shows what's important to you. Not to say that certain thing, but when it comes to this, that's where this level of understanding comes from. Because when it comes to your salvation, it comes to the Most High. It all ties into the commandment, and I'm going to go to that too. I'm going to get that. But loving the Most High first and foremost with your heart, all your heart, your mind, and your soul. When you do that, when you love someone like that, it really shows where your heart is. And so we're going to get that, but he trieth the reins. And we went in, like I said, I went in and mentioned that in another, one of my videos, like, it is very, very true, you know? And so now I'm going to go to, and why I'm going here, because when it comes down to why I went to 13 and 13 and here 15, when you can say something and you like you say you can really feel a certain way, and you can, as I mentioned before in another one of my videos, you can really feel like you really attracted to a love a person, whatever, but are they doing it? Matters on what you do. Let's go to I'm gonna go to Matthew first, but then I'm gonna go to, now I often go here because it's 100% so relevant. It's so relevant. Let's go. Okay. Um, yeah, yeah, it's very also relevant. But I'm gonna go to now. I'm gonna go to Matthew, and then I'm gonna go here because and tie all together because it's just so. One of Matthew. I get all the way. Um. Oh wow! All praises. I turned right to where I wanted to go. Wow! All praises to the Most High. All and the Messiah. All praise. Okay. Matthew 5. All right, this is Matthew 5. Um, and once again, the Messiah had to teach people this. This is something that people must understand. This is a level of understanding, and it all ties into what I'm speaking of because it's all about that level of understanding. You can honor someone with your mouth, but if your heart is far from it all. I'm gonna go. That's why I'm gonna go to Samuel. Okay, this is Matthew chapter 5. All right. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain. And when he was set, his disciples came unto him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit. All right, and this is all going to tie into the whole point. Okay. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And then we'll go back to something else in Matthew to tie into all this for it to really be clear. Okay. Um, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. They shall see the Most High. For God says here. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. 10. But I want to get to in this point, and then I want to go to something else. Okay. Um, Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. All right. And I'm going to get the definition of persecute. Okay. So that we are clear. All right. On, you know what I'm saying? Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely. For why? And this is the whole thing, and I'm going to tie it into something else, okay, in Matthew. For all manner of evil against you falsely. Why? For my sake, okay? For the Messiah's sake, okay? What we went to in the beginning, John chapter 4. Um, they that worship the Father must worship him in spirit and in truth. All these things, and let's get persecution, but then I'm going to go to, okay, because um, you, but yeah, all this for his sake, for his sake. Let's
Okay, so yeah, now I'm gonna go to I could finish out with Matthew 5. Um and I probably will. Rejoice. This is 5 and 12. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Okay? Um and and let's just go to 13. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is therefore, or thenceforth, Salaki, it is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. And as I've mentioned before, that is indeed the situation with our nation in general, the nation of Israel. Okay, but the biblical Hebrew Israelites, the children of Jacob, the children of Israel. Um, so, but what the point that I wanna go to, because what this all ties it, where really is, so that verse 13 is so very relevant, because it ties into everything that we just read. If you claim to be following the Most High, you must worship Him in spirit and in truth. And what I'm going to go to now, Matthew 10, um, is because nothing could should be greater than that. than you seeking the kingdom. And let's go to 10. And I've gone into this in another one of my videos, once again based on some occurrences and things that I had seen and um, seen with family members, and you know how sometimes people find it very difficult to even you know stand for the Most High when it comes to family. But even though this isn't exactly the case this time with this situation, but it still kind of ties, because sometimes when it has to do with dealings in this world, we cannot let, even if it is important as far as this world's concerned, um, when it comes to your following the Most High, and we're gonna get all that. I'm gonna go into that. That's when that tribulation comes. That's when that trying of the reins comes. That's when you really have to sit and make a decision. What is important in this situation? The Most High and what He commands, or what this world and men say to do. And that was really the gist of this tribulation that arose in my life. And, you know, and once again, amongst other things, um, once again, going into, as I've mentioned before, I mentioned many times, you know, having to do with the situation of the curses in Deuteronomy, you know, certain situations, Deuteronomy, uh, let's see, what was it? Oh, oh, wow, wow. All praises to the Most High. Yes, I turned right to it. Deuteronomy 28. All right, now let's see. Wow. Deuteronomy 28 and 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother and towards the wife of his bosom and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall lead. And you know that is, you know, I mean, I'm thankful for the mercy that the Most High has shown me in this situation, but it pretty much is part of my one of my situation and many situations of the daughters of Zion, many, so many, and I've gone into, I've mentioned that in a couple of my videos, and I may touch on that too. You know how it, you know, I look at the um, what would appear that some of our brothers are attempting to, I don't know, I just, you know, I don't want to make that what this is about, but you know how it feels and how it is to be left in a situation like that in this world, in this society, that when we read in Psalms 83, we understand clearly that there is, you know, a crafty counsel against the children of Israel to cut them off from being remembered. So all kinds of things are in place to execute that. You know what I mean? And as I've mentioned before about, you know, the Willie Lynch letter, you know, desolating the woman, whereas though she's forced to work, so therefore the children can be influenced a certain way to keep a perpetual state, especially mind state of servitude. And you know, that's facts. It just, if may the Most High show who can't understand that. But that isn't what I want to put. But I'm just saying, like, so if all that tied into this situation, things that I had to struggle with and do all alone, just to get up to this point, and you know, something was, um, how can I, it was orchestrated on the Sabbath. And so it was like, well, do I attend this or do I keep the Sabbath? Because had it been anyone else, I would have, it would have been no thought. No, it's the Sabbath day, you know, that's out. But when it came down to this situation, it was really troublesome. It was really, really, really troublesome, because it was like, okay, I've done all this all by myself. You know, of course not. You know, you have to, but for the most part, yeah, struggles and pure hell. Okay, And then here this is this situation where, in this situation where all this came into my mind, like, okay, so now these other parties are coming and they're going to sit and come to this and, make it appear as if, um, when people see, pictures or whatever, it's going to appear as if they, you know, um, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, and that's what I had to remind myself, and that's why I'm going here, because regardless of whatever, so many options, other options were presented, but it turned out the way it did, and to the point where I was faced with the decision. You know, do I defile the Sabbath, which would to me, had it been any other case, that would have been what the situation would have been defiling the Sabbath, and I'm going to give scriptures on that. Um, or but because this is this, do I, you know, go to this? You know what I mean? So it's like, what do you do in a situation like that? What do you do? And so when I chose to, keep the Sabbath and keep it holy, regardless, of the, how it did end up appearing, to others, neither here nor there, because I'm gonna go into why. But let's go to chapter 10, Matthew chapter 10. Okay. Um, Fear ye not. This is 10 and 31. Fear ye not, therefore. Ye are more valued than many sparrows. Ye are of more value than many sparrows. 32. Whosoever shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter in law against her mother in law. And a man's foes shall be, and this shall be is idolized right here, and that is 100% just like all of the word. It's a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me, and this is what I really want to get to, okay, is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. And all of that was so 100% relevant, because not to say that you don't love them and you don't love your family, but the point being that when it comes to putting them over what the Most High says, and we're going to tie that into John. Let's go to John right quick, and then I'm going to go to Exodus, okay, and then I'm going to go back to Matthew, okay, because um, yeah, let's go to John, because this is the key, and we're going to go to okay, this is Saint John, um, chapter, we're going to go to 14 and 15, and we're going to go 14, so many more, but just for the sake of time and just to bring the point, I'm going to go to John chapter 14 and 15. I never did get persecuted, and I'm going to get that. That's what I was doing, and then I did something with the computer, and then I had to, but let's get persecuted first of all, and we can go back to that, and I'm going to tie it, but I wanted to get that because it's very important. Now I just had to use a book one because my computer is fine though. It's all good. Alright, persecute. Treat badly, do harm to, again and again, oppress. Wow. Treat badly, do harm to, again and again, oppress, punish for religious reasons, annoy, okay, persecuted by silly questions, persecuted, persecuting, persecution, a persecuting, the, okay, being persecuted, okay. So, yeah, let's read it one more time. Treat badly, do harm to, again and again, oppress, all right, punish for religious reasons, annoy, and um, that is once again, as I mentioned, another why I do what I do because, the people who are truly following the Messiah, okay, we know that though, and that's why we went there, okay. But he said you're blessed when these things happen to you, and when people speak all manner of evil against you falsely for the Messiah's sake, because we're going to get that now. And just what we said, okay, people honor him with their lips, but their heart is far from them. And once again, what we said in Matthew 13, when tribulation arrives, okay, or persecution, okay, then by and by people get offended, okay, by the word and by the truth. But that goes into where is your heart? Because when you love something, really for real, all right, that's where that all ties. And if we're going to go to Samuel, I didn't forget about that, but I want to go to John 14 and 15. Let's get this. If ye love me, keep my commandments. 14 and 21. He that hath my commandments and keepeth them. And see, this is all perfect, and it ties into in Revelations, um, that do them. Okay, hear these words and do them, that keepeth his saying, even in all this tribulation, as I would mention in another one of my videos. Okay, it's all tied into trying your reigns. Okay, so but you're blessed because the point is, and we're gonna get that. And I'm gonna go to I may get it go to Revelations. Okay, because see, and also Maccabees, yeah, because this is the point. All right, let's get this. 21. He that hath my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me, and he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him and will manifest myself to him. Okay? That's the whole. Let's go to this Revelations side of this one, but I think I actually let's see Revelations. All praises, because did I turn? Let's see here. I'm pretty sure it's chapter 3. Okay, yes, all praise. Okay, so it's a few of them I will go to, but this is Revelations chapter 3, and I'll start at 8. Okay, I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door. Okay, and this all ties into everything that it all ties. Okay, because the open door is your mind. You have a choice. Okay, he's always given the children of Israel that choice. Just as we read in Deuteronomy, where he says, so this I set before thee, life and death. Choose, therefore, choose life. Life is these commandments and following his ways because he is everything. Okay, and I could go into Baruch. Okay, it all ties, but let me just for the sake of time. I mean, but that's the whole point. The open door is your mind. So you have the choice to please the one and only power and do his will and receive his gifts and blessings, okay? Or choose the world, flesh, sin, you know, carnality, okay? All tying into um, that what you call light, okay? If you make darkness your light, therefore you walk in darkness and do those ways, what that brings you, okay? But so let's just keep going. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and has not denied my name. And that all once again goes into, what I speak of often, like the name that you're coming in. It has to do with your works. Um, yes, once again, not saying that, the name isn't important, but the name that you're coming in is his name, meaning what you're doing, okay? What you represent. You understand what I'm saying? Your works, your ways, all right? I went into that already before, but um as we just read, okay, if you confess him before men, he will confess you before the Father. If you deny him before, he will deny you, okay, before the Father. And as we're saying here, um, I at all times I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Okay, it all ties to that. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. 10. What I really want to get to. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay, and that's what I wanted to get to. Okay, really wanted to focus on those two, verse 8 and verse 10, because as I mentioned before, when tribulation arises, that's tribulation is trials, going through things, being tried. Okay, and as we read in 8, but you have kept his name. Okay, you have kept his name, and I'm going to tie, and why I went to that, because we're going to go and tie all that into the whole point of a lot of things that I mentioned, even especially as far as when we read about Colossians. As I mentioned in another video, you could tie that into it. Um, you know, considering and the persecution. Now, when we read the definition of persecution, because of religious people will really persecute you because of what you know because of, but it's mainly talking about the Israelites, because they're the ones that have throughout history, okay, have been, I mean, martyred, um, just persecuted continually for centuries because of who they are. And that's why I'm going to go to Maccabees to tie all that into this, because when you are, let's, and I also said I was going to mention Revelations 12, and then I'm going to, but that's the whole point why I wanted to go there. I'm going to go to, first though, before I get that though, I'm going to go to Revelations 22 and 14, and just tie into the point that I was making. Blessed are they that do his commandments, okay? And, okay, so blessed, this is 22 and 14, Revelations. Blessed are they that do his commandments, all right? See, that all ties into why I mentioned what I mentioned initially about the at the well, when he said, "Ye worship which ye know not what, for we know salvation is of the Jews." Okay, why I went to Romans chapter 3. Okay, what advantage hath you? Much in every way, because chiefly were committed unto them the oracles of God. That's the whole point. All right. 14 in Revelation 22 and 14, you see, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. What city? Okay, New Jerusalem. Okay, and that's the key. All right. And we could go to 15 for without our dogs. Okay, that's women dealing with witchcraft and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Okay, and that's the purpose. And when we go into Galatians, yeah, I could go to. Let me tie that purpose into that. Okay, Galatians 3. All right, and 10. And see, this is the whole point. That knowledge of salvation. You see, that goes ties into Luke. It all ties into it. Okay? But it matters on your love for the Most High and what you do. Are you willing to keep his name and stand for him even through all kinds of tribulation? That shows where your heart is. And you're going to be tried and persecuted. And that's why I went to Matthew 13. Okay? And also especially chapter 10, why I got to this point, because if you would keep the Sabbath and anyone else or anything else, it would be not even a question or a thought. But if it came down to a select or certain persons, whereas though you're presented in a situation where you're really like, do I keep the Sabbath? But any other time you would be like, nope, I'm going to keep the Sabbath. This is that. It wouldn't even be a thought. So you can't be a respect of persons. You either love the Most High or you don't, and you show Him through your works. And and just as we that's why I went to John 14 for if you love me, as He says, if you love Him, you are going to keep His commandments. And we want to go to Exodus, but let me go here to Galatians 3 and 10. All right, for as many as are the works of the law are under the curse, for it is written, cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. Okay? So you have to read that with understanding. It's a matter of what you do. Okay? And as we read into the very last book of the word, blessed are they that keep his commandments and do them, so that you have right to the city, New Jerusalem. But I wanted, and that was good that I went there, but I actually didn't want to go there. I actually wanted to go to something else. Um, but I'm 100% sure it is in Galatians. Yeah, this is perfect though. Um, I don't want to go into all that right this second though, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's. Yeah. Yes, Galatians 5 and 16 was really what I wanted to get to, but that was perfect. I mean, it was um all right, Galatians 5 and 16. And the point that I want to really bring out about your works, what you do, and what you're walking in. Okay, the lust of the flesh or the spirit of the Most High. All right, this is Galatians 5 and 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit. Now, when you're walking, that means what you're doing, your ways, how you walk, what you do. Okay, this I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if you be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. But we're talking about what spirit are we talking about? Tying into John and 4 and 21. The Spirit of the Father, you must worship Him in spirit and in truth. Okay? And so we understand, though, that the law is not done away with. And we also understand that so this is a matter of understanding. You also understand, just as First John tells you, okay, and Romans, okay, sin is the transgression of the law. So this isn't saying here, don't keep the law, you're under curse. Well, no, but it's saying how you're walking. Because if you're walking in the flesh, then that is going to do that. You are going to be in that situation where you're cursed by the law because you're going to be doing fleshly things. But if you're led by the Spirit, because that's why at this point this is a spiritual battle, and the law is supposed to be in your heart, your mind, your soul. It's supposed to be in your heart. Okay, so you're being led by the Holy Spirit. Okay, and so then therefore you, because if sin is then the transgression of the law, then if you're doing sin is the flesh, this the lustly fleshly lust. Okay, that's what that's saying. Okay, so when you're led by the Spirit, then you don't have to be condemned by the law because you're going to be led by the Holy Spirit. You're going to be doing what is not sin. You're not going to sin when you let the Spirit lead you. But if you but now the works of the flesh are these. Now let's be clear. Let's make understanding of this. Okay, which a lot of people get all twisted, especially when they read Galatians as if the law is totally done away with. No, it's now it's about where your heart is and what's in your heart and walking in the right spirit. That was why the Messiah destroyed the physical priesthood and the physical temple, because now because your body is the temple, as we read in Corinthians, so that spirit can dwell in you and you be led by the Spirit and overcome the world and the flesh. All right. um but so and to reiterate the point of Matthew 5 and 17, is it that he did not come to destroy the law but to fulfill and do that, put it in your heart. Okay, we reiterate this right here because it's telling you that the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High, or of God, as it says here. Now, I'm going to keep going though, but I want to tie that back into the fact that these are all written in the law, all these things here that we just read. So the law cannot be saying this, cannot be saying that the law is done away with. Okay, but it's telling you how to walk. All right, it's telling you that it's about the Spirit being in your temple now. Okay, because the physical law was there, the physical ordinances, the physical priesthood was all there, and the people were still evil and wicked. So it has to be something that has to compel your heart. All right, to make you want to do right and walk in this spirit here and not do those things, because if you do, you're not going to be in the kingdom. That all ties into what I just read in Revelations 22. All right, those, they're not going to be in the city. They will not have that key, that knowledge to the city, New Jerusalem. You will not be there when you're walking after the flesh and not being led by the Spirit. And now let's read what the fruits of the Spirit are. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. You see, that's when you're in the fruits of the Spirit. There is no law when you're walking that way, because there's no need for it, because you're doing right. That's what you're supposed to do. The law is there, just as Timothy tells you. Yeah, I didn't think it's Timothy 1. Let's just to reiterate this, let's go there right quick. Okay? All right, yes. All right, Timothy 1 and 1 Timothy 1 and 8. Okay? But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man. See, that's also what this is saying. Okay, when you're walking in the spirit of the Holy Spirit and those fruits that we just led, there's no there's no law, because that's what you're supposed to do. So here we're saying that's righteous. What does First John say? Okay, he that doeth righteousness is righteous. Okay, now knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly, and for sinners, for unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, kidnappers, for liars, for perjured persons, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine. Okay? So I just wanted to go there right quick to bring the whole point of what we just read. Okay, it's all about what you do and what's leading you. Once again, what I mentioned too in Matthew. Okay, about what are you calling light? If darkness be what you make your whole thing, your body full of, and you call that your light and your knowledge, and think that certain ways in darkness is what's good and what will prosper. What would Scripture tell you in Isaiah? Woe to them that call good evil and evil good. Okay, woe. Woe means destruction. That's what it says. Woe to them that call good evil and evil good. That's all tied into the same thing. All tied into this right here. And let's go back to 22 and 14 Revelations, okay? Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. Okay? And so it all matters in what you do. And so now I want to go back to it probably was something else that I wanted to get, but I just want to stay focused on my whole point being about Matthew. Okay, once again, if you love him, keep his commandments. Okay, um, but uh, but but here we go. It all tying into, but whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Okay, think not that I am come to send peace. Back in Matthew 10:34 now. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Sword divides, as I mentioned in many of my videos. Okay, the Messiah was that fleshly word. And in Hebrews, as it tells you, that word is a sword because it divides. Okay, it separates true followers from those, it shows the true intentions of the heart, all tying into the point. Because regardless of, so I'm gonna go, let me finish reading. Okay, for I am come to set man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes, okay, meaning enemies, people against you, okay, shall be they of his own household. Why? Once again, because what Simeon told Mary, okay, the our word, the word, the living word, okay, would be a discerner of the true thoughts and intents of the people. Okay, what this word is, as Hebrews tells you. Okay, it's all saying the same thing. Okay, because people want to say, this and that about the Messiah, but the Messiah never ever came to say anything against the law. What he came to do was fulfill it. When he did what he did, which was already written, as I've gone into many videos, to um, put something in the hearts of the right people, so that they would appreciate and be compelled to what? To what we just read in Galatians, walk in the Spirit. But the point that what I want to get to, and he that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Okay, and so let's really be clear on the point. Of course, when the scriptures tell you to honor your father and mother, all right, that's a commandment. So it of course doesn't mean disrespect or um, be rude or you know things like that. Okay, but and as I mentioned before in another video, when people talk about enemy, an enemy is someone who's against you. They're not for you. Let's get that. So the point being, I want to get that definition of it because I wonder if I can probably can't find foe in here, but just so that you're clear on the enemy is just simply that someone is against you. That's not for you. Um, foe is in here. Enemy. That's all it says though. So we need to know what enemy is. ABC enemy. Okay. We need to know what that is. Enemy. A person or group that hates and tries to harm another, a hostile force, nation, army, fleet, or air force, person, ship, etc. Of an enemy, anything harmful, anything harmful. Well, there you have it. It's right there. Someone that is against you, that is will try to bring harm to you, that will try to what we read, it goes against you. And so a person or group that hates and tries to harm another. And anybody truly, genuinely, sincerely, they, that's what it is. But it is, that's what it is. There you go. So, but the point being, though, we have to have understanding of you're not to it's not saying, but the point that it's saying is that if you love them more. So when these persecutions and things arise and these tribulations and things arise because of who it is and things like that, you forsake, and this is why he has it here though. Okay? And this is why he had to teach the disciples. We can go back to Matthew 5, and I'm going to go back to that because it all brings it home. Um, you are blessed when these certain situations arise because of his sake, for his sake. Because you are, and so that's why it's in here. The Most High is not vain. Nothing that he hates vanity. He's not about vanity. He 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 put it there for good reason. Like that's the purpose of putting it there, is because um, it's very important to know and understand and how to deal with it, and to understand that this is going to happen. I went into another video. You are going to, if any man uh, choose to um, follow the Most High, you are going to be persecuted because, as I mentioned in many of my videos, when it goes against what people want, and that's why Matthew was very important. I don't want to drag it out, but it is so very important when it goes when people have it. As I mentioned in another video, I believe that was in Corinthians. I think it was a might have been in Corinthians, but a man knows what's in their heart. They know what they're about. Okay, and the Most High knows what they're about. So people will honor them and say that they love the Lord, but when it actually comes down to doing things, so let's now go to Exodus, and that was the main point, because I don't want to go too hard, but that is the main point. So people will revile you and persecute you, speak all manner of evil against you when you decide to stand for what the Most High versus what they, you know, whether it could be them, a person. You cannot love anyone or anything more than the Most High. And I'm gonna Okay, so let's get this. This is in Exodus 20. And Ahia, or God, as it says here, spake all these things, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto. And so that is the point. When you worship something or you love something more than the Most High, more than the Messiah, and as he was saying, because he's the living word, okay, he's telling you to do what our Father commands. So he's saying, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, a higher thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. But let's listen. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. You see, that is showing your love once again, as the Messiah reiterates in in John, I'm sorry, and First John. It's many, but you know what I mean. But that is showing your love. And now I want to go to Samuel. I want to go back. I want to go to Samuel because, but I'm gonna come back here to um, um, Exodus 20, because the point of it is that if, regardless of who it is, if it's something that is going to cause you to go against the Most High on His day, or you know, anything contrary to what He says to do, then you know that it's of the adversary. And I'm gonna go to Revelations though, but um, yeah. So he that love me and keep my commandments. That's the key right there. Thou shalt not take the name of Ahiah thy power in vain, for Ahiah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Point being, we're talking about vanity. If you're saying you're coming in his name, meaning doing your works, as we went through when we went to Revelations, and when we went to um, Matthew, okay, we're talking about doing, and John, okay, when we're talking about doing what he says to do, worshiping him in spirit and truth, okay, when you're coming in his name and you claim that you're coming in his name, but you really are doing something else, that is taking his name in vain. When you're claiming, and this is what I want to say, you know, and I pray for a lot of our people and brothers are out here, people out here doing this and thinking that the Most High is mocked. He is not mocked. He is not for play. Okay? And that's why that all ties into Jude and Peter. Okay? You know, out here, you know, um, claiming, you know what I mean? But I believe that's also in Galatians though, that he's not mocked. Okay, so you know you are taking his name in vain when you're claiming that you're for him and you're really not, and you're really doing other things, and he is going to judge for that. Okay, that's just what it is. I mean, really, and so that's not having proper fear of him. Okay, you really, you're out your mind if you're doing that. I mean, period and point blank. But you know, why? Why is that though? Because you're not walking in that right Holy Spirit. You're walking after the flesh, and that's what Corinthians talks about. Okay, really, of the adversary transforming themselves into angels of light. Okay, because we know that the adversary, that's what it is. It's adverse. It's the anti-Messiah, the antichrist. It's the anti. It's against. It's opposite. It's adverse. All right, of what our God says. So, and that is, remember the Sabbath day. Let's go to 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Okay, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is, and this is the whole point. Now, even after I went through all that, was all very relevant because it pertains to every situation concerning our people. Whether you want to say it's the Sabbath, whether you want to say it's another high holy day, whether you want to say no, of course, now we don't know for sure. You know, this is why I never profess to know anything. But he says, keep that which you have. Okay, he tries your heart, so he knows what your intentions are. Okay, and then, but that's when it comes down to what you do. So let's go to Samuel. Let's go to Samuel. Because I wanted to go to Samuel because it's very important. It's very important, which is why you aren't, and why I always go to Corinthians as well. Okay, um, knowledge puffeth up, and don't be so proud and boastful about what you're saying that you know, because by the Most High, your actions are weighed. Okay, and it all ties into taking His name in vain and everything. You know what I mean? Um, absolutely. Uh, First Samuel chapter 2 and verse 2. There is none holy as the Lord, as it says here. For there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our power, our God, as it says here. Talk no more exceeding proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For higher is a power of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. Okay? So it's all a matter about what you do. And I love this, because even we go down to this can tie into this is a good precept. Even if you're um this is good for Isaiah 31, I believe. Okay, people putting all their trust in the horses of Pharaoh, and putting their trust in the shadow of Egypt and of Pharaoh. Okay, because there's many, and it's a strong force and all this stuff. But the Most High is strong. Okay, and fools to them to put their trust in man. Okay, and that's what it tells you in Isaiah. Okay, because they are men. The Egyptians are men. All right. Yeah, I mean, you can go do 30 right on through 31. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. And that ties right 100% into what Samuel. So what do we say? Talk no more exceeding proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth, for a higher is a power of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. Your actions are weighed. Just as tying into, if you love me, keep my commandments. What we read in Revelations. Keep the commandments and do them, that you have right to the tree, to the key of the city. Okay? Um, um, Now let's go here though. For why I said this totally ties into Isaiah 31 right there. Okay? The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumbled are girt with strength. Okay? Who stumbled? We get that when we read in Romans, precept upon precept. Okay? Because he smote us, but not that we should fall. Okay? But don't put your trust in mighty men and flesh. Okay? Because you don't have that understanding, man, you're in trouble. Seriously. But you put your trust in flesh because you see this and you see that, and it appears, okay, to be this and that, but woe to you. But let's see. This is 11. All right, we're not gonna be down always. Okay, he's judging us, but that's why he's trying the reins. Who really loves him? Let's see. This is Romans chapter 10, verse 11. And we could start way back up at the top, but we was talking about Israel. Okay, let's start at 7 then. All right, what then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the rest, but the election And see, that's what God ties into what I speak of in many of my videos, okay? The elect are going to, they are going to endure. That's why I say he that endureth to the end. Okay, because they're going to put their trust and their faith in him. Okay, um but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded, according as it is written, Ahiah have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should see not. And remember that also ties into also what I would speak of often, okay? It's about what you're lusting after in your heart. Because in James it tells you, and I've gone into that before, if you really ask of him and are truly seeking him and you're not wavering, okay, and you're seeking him truthfully and sincerely, okay, then he's going to give you his knowledge. He's going to give it to you without measure. Okay? But um but anyway, I want to keep reading. Okay, God have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. And David saith, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Because as I mentioned before, a lot of people, a lot of times when they read in Psalms, maybe talking about the other nations, true, granted, but it's also talking about Israel a lot. Okay, because Israel, as I mentioned before, man, this is what the whole Bible is talking about: their disobedience, okay, their judgments, and how to get back to our God. All right. Let their eyes be darkened that they may see, that they may not see, and bow down their back always. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Okay, what did we read in Samuel? All right, the bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumbled are girt with strength. Okay, so now what does this mean? Okay, this is talking about salvation right here in a nutshell. Those that have stumbled will be girt with strength. Well, as we read in Isaiah, he will help Israel. He said he's going to help us. We have stumbled because of disobedience. Okay, but let's read this. Have they stumbled that they should fall? A higher forbid. Okay? But rather, through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, because the Gentiles have received um, um, their time and their kingdom and everything throughout fall. But at the same time, those of them too, you know what I mean, who are seeking truth. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. All right, but still, okay. For to provoke them to jealousy. It was to provoke the Israelites to jealousy, to see, just as I mentioned before, you see a world without the laws of the Most High established in the earth. You see a world without it. It's very sad. It is. Okay? So the Gentiles have received a salvation, a rulership, a kingdom, okay, through their fall, through the fall of the true Israelites. All right? Um, Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, so which is once again why I'm going to go into chapter 12, and it also right here, right next to it. All right, you have to come out the world. Our people have to come out of the world because we've stumbled. Not that we should fall. Okay, he's going to gird us with strength, as we read in Samuel. Okay, and as we read all throughout, especially in Isaiah. Okay, Isaiah and Jeremiah too. I mean, all throughout, all throughout. Okay, but you know, now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? Because at this point, when we are, this can tie into Revelations again. Okay, and this is all very relevant and pertinent to what I'm speaking of, because what what we read in Romans 3. But let's just read something right here. All right, very important, very important. Okay, listen to what the Messiah is saying. Okay, this is Revelations 3:15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. Okay, you be one or the other. What we've spoken of just several times that I've spoken of. Okay, you have to be straightforward, and you can't be wavering, and you cannot be putting darkness for your light, calling that your light, and following after that way, and you know, but you have to be straightforward and want this key, want this knowledge, okay, of salvation. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou sayest, and this is what a lot of people try to do, it all ties into honoring with their mouth, but their heart is far from, because it's based on what you do. It's why I went to Samuel, okay? And it's really mainly pertaining to our people, especially because this is what our people do. We put our trust in Pharaoh, in the shadow of Egypt, in certain ways, because it's many, it seems to be many, as I've gone into in my last video, okay? Quick to follow a multitude to do evil, okay, quick to follow a multitude, and all this is in Proverbs, okay, to cause people to wrest judgment. But because it's a lot of people doing this and that, and it's a lot this, and it looks this way, and it's a that, and you know what I mean, it people do it. Okay, what does the scripture say? Wide is the gate that leadeth to destruction, and many there are that go in thereat. But this is exactly all tying into it. All is the same thing. It all is telling you the same thing. Listen, okay? Because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind to what's right. And I've gone into this in many, even before in another one, okay? Righteous judgment. What is Ecclesiastes talking about? The perverting of judgment. Somebody regards that, and that's the Most High, okay? He just, as we just read, especially right in just in Samuel, okay? And in Isaiah, what we just read, 31, okay? But people put their trust in the world, in physical things, and what the world says, and what a multitude of people are running after, and what the what fleshly says that you're supposed to do. So especially pertaining to this situation. Okay, yeah, the world says you need to get this and get that and that, this and the third. So you feel like you get this and you forsake the ways of the Most High. Just as I mentioned in another video of in Ecclesiasticus, okay, about being sound, having sound constitution, okay, and not so much riches, okay, but yeah, because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. Your shame is really all out there. But you don't see that because you feel as though you have material gain at temporarily at a time. All going into a mindset once again. All right, listen. 18. I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment. That's that righteousness. Okay, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear. Okay, that you will be clothed in righteousness, doing right. You won't be. I mean, I'm telling you, and it's such a shame to see the sight of the people of the Most High in the condition that they're in, because they're blind, and they're wretched, and they're needy of the word. Okay, of the truth. All in all the scriptures, especially even in Hosea, because there is no knowledge of truth. There's no knowledge of the Most High in the land. Okay, the people are destroyed, but they don't even see or understand because they think they have material goods, or they think they have this, that, and the third, what the world tells them they're supposed to have. Real talk, man. And I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that you can see. All praises, that thou mayest see. Okay? Who's tried? Who's tried and refined in the fire other than those that want to truly seek him? as we're all talking about, as Ecclesiasticus, what is it, 3 tells you, and all throughout, in Proverbs and Psalms, all throughout. Okay, and it's just 100%. So, but all that ties into the whole point. Go back to Matthew. Okay, the point is that we are the light of the world. If we are supposed to be doing, then you're gonna have to stand out. You're gonna have to sometimes do something that everybody's gonna be like, oh, I can't. You, you didn't. That is like, I mean, and it wasn't presented to me in a certain way because for the most part, people know, how, at this point, But what was said to me, and I was like, was I've even presented truth to this person, and it was, it was. I could go into some of it, but the point being that, I would, of course, people that don't regard, um, you know, the scripture. So man, that's not to say that seed isn't sinking in, but I mean, just saying, like, was said to me feel a certain kind of way, like, yeah, true, but also you also only get one time, really, at this point, especially in the time that we're in now, to show the Most High that you love Him, and regardless of who it is, keep the commandments. That's why I went to Matthew, chapter 10. Okay, regardless. Okay, you're going to have to confess his name. And how do you do that? With your works, too. Yeah, confess it, tell, okay, and no, I'm not going to do that, and this is why. And if people can't understand that, and of course, as we going back here, where I went back here to 5 and 11, blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely. Why? For my sake. Okay? And that was just really, really the whole what I wanted to say about that. I mean, um, the certain things in this society, we're gonna go here, as I mentioned, before. Let's go before, and when I went there, I didn't actually get today, but I'm gonna go to it today. I'm gonna go to it, and you know, this is Daniel. Here we go. This is Daniel 7:25. Okay, and he shall speak great words. So we're speaking of the beasts. He's talking about the beasts and this one particular beast, and it all also, to me, I perceive, kind of ties into the Revelations, the 10 Kings, but it also, to me, when you, I could be incorrect, but when you go to Psalms chapter 83, when you count down those nations, it's 10. So, I've heard many people say, certain things, but understand that all these have one mind. These different kings of the earth, these different nations, when you count, is 10. Okay, I could be incorrect. I'm not saying that I'm correct about that, because I've heard many different things about it. But that to me makes sense. If I'm perceiving it correctly, these 10 kings of the earth, these 10 horns, all have one mind at this time. And see, and now you're starting to see, how the Most High is starting to put in the heart of some of these to come against, um, the great whore, because the Most High have put it in their heart at this point. And it all ties into also Obadiah, okay? He to have an ear, you know what I mean? But let's go to 7:25. This is Daniel 7:25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. All right. Um, and so we could go on, but I wanted to go into that because, as I mentioned before, as why it's a blessed thing for us to give charity to each other and to encourage each other and strengthen each other, as we read in Peter. Okay, admonish each other and strengthen each other in the word. All right, and encourage each other if one of your true brethren fall or stumble. You know what I mean? Or fall into a temptation. You don't tear them down, but you encourage them in the word, especially when you know that they're sincere and they're, you can always repent, and do right. What does the scripture say? Um, 7 times 7, 70-fold. I don't want to go too far, but yes, I mean that's what we're supposed to do to each other: strengthen and encourage each other in keeping these commandments that we get to that kingdom. And so that's why I do what I do, and because I once again had gone through an experience or something, and it really, I mean, I was like, it was terrible, I just considering everything, that once again tying into, the situation for many of the women of Zion, and I feel like I should have. Why did this happen? You know what I mean? Like why? But then you had to consider your mindset. But let me not go too far off, but right here. Okay, so thinking of the changing the times and laws, okay? This as I went to another video, the society that we're in does not exalt the words and the laws and the ways of the God of the Israel, of the Bible. Okay, and so in that situation, you're going to go through many things that even you really don't have control of sometimes. But you do what you can, and that's where the grace comes in. But at the same time, don't willfully sin. I mean, if you can avoid it, then do that, And in this case, that was the case with me. But certain things were said, as if, it was like, whatever, whatever, because I did not. But I mean, the Sabbath for me is the Sabbath. And, that was known and options were presented. And, once again, we don't have control over certain things. Why? Because the changing of times and laws. Okay, but I just want to go to something. Okay, that's very key. Now let's consider. Let's go to three. I'm gonna go to three things. Okay. Um, yeah. So now let's go to what we just read. All right. To think, let's read Daniel again. I'm gonna read Daniel again. I'm gonna come back here, and I'm just gonna be, you know, should you be presented with something, remember, um, the Most High, and don't put anyone. And why I reiterate to mother, because these are people that are close to you. Do you know how close these people are when you read in Matthew 10 about who can become your foe? But if you love them more than the Most High, these are people really close to you, that you would, so close to you that you would consider, like, oh man, it's my mom, or it's my child, or but if it can be avoided, and it's still, keeping the laws of the Most High, then that's what you have to do, because He said, if you love them more than Him, then you're not worthy of Him. Not to say that you aren't to love them and do what you're supposed to do in that role, but when it comes to something that's going to take you from following Him, then that's the point. And the Most High always makes a way, and He doesn't put you into something that He can't deliver you out of, or you know what I mean. If we read that in James, was it Peter? Okay, probably both, but um let's see here. Okay, so and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and so that's the point though. Shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Um, the point, though, what I wanted to go to is was what we're talking about, and I'm gonna go back to Matthew and then Romans, okay, and in Revelations too, about this what we just read here, about what we read in Galatians, okay, and about what we read in Revelation. That's that kingdom, okay, the kingdom of the Messiah, and the kingdom of Israel coming. That's what you want to have right to the key of the city of New Jerusalem. That knowledge. And all ties into everything that we've just read, even Revelations, okay? What you're when you have had no strength, because that's the point, and that's where we're at now. Okay? We've been given into the hands of our enemies, but it all ties into prophecy and what the Most High said because of what we had done. But it all had to be done because the word is the word. And it's all what he say his words are tried silver as silver, and the earth purifies 7 times. They are all of it. What does it say in Isaiah? It's going to happen. What does it say all throughout? And it has, and you see it. And so that's where your faith though has to come in, because you're gonna be tried. And that's just is what it is. But this all ties into is very relevant about the point, because that's let's go to now Maccabee, okay? I'm gonna go to first Maccabee because I'm gonna go to Ephesians too, and then I'm gonna go to Revelations. All right. So this is let's go. This is first Maccabees 1, and I'm gonna start at 41. Okay. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed, according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and to the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. They should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. 49 was the point that I really wanted to get to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. 50, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. I could keep going, but I really wanted to go to 49. To the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. Okay, the ordinances established by the Most High. And the Sabbath day, I'm going to go into that. Why is that profanation? Let's consider some things, okay? I said I wanted to go to Revelation, you see, because I've mentioned this before. But this is Revelation 12, okay, and 17, all right? And we'll start at 15, okay? Um, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth, and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon casts out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Ahiah, or it says here of God, and had the testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach, or as it says here of Jesus. Well, this actually says Jesus because there's no J's in this 1611. But of Jesus Christ, as it says here, okay? And yeah. So as I mentioned before in the last video, okay, in Ephesians, okay, we're not wrestling against necessarily flesh and blood, but we are wrestling against principalities. Now, there there's of course the spiritual and the physical. There are those that are carrying out the will of these principalities physically. And this is what ties into the Daniel, okay, and also when we read in Thessalonians, okay, but also when we read in Revelations 13, okay, um, um, all tying into that. We'll go to 13 and 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast. Now that is a nation, okay? Rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Now we've already gone into about blasphemy, okay? And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. And that blasphemy also goes into the changing of times and laws, okay? Because that's contempt, total contempt for the word of God, okay? Um, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. Okay, so there, as we read in 17, okay, the dragon, this dragon, the serpent, as we'll go, let's get it, okay. Um, the great dragon, verse 9, 12 and 9, okay, let's get information on this, all right. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Principalities, okay, all right. So who gave this beast their power? Let's see. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, that nation, okay? And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him, okay? Once again, we can tie this into Isaiah 31, okay? Many have wondered after this, and I've already gone into this too in another one about the image, okay? What is the image, all right? What is being worshipped, okay? So just and let's tie this though. Let's go to 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Okay, and he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, against Ahias, it says here, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwelt in heaven. Okay, all tying into what we just read, but the point being to blaspheme the name, to disregard the law, to disregard the word of the Most High, to disregard those that dwell in heaven, what they really look like, who the people, all of that, all of it all ties, all of it all ties, but the point about it was that that's a situation. So we are put in certain situations a lot of times that to the end of it is to cause the children of Israel to forsake the law. But the something to remind you, I want to, to let's go to, I want to go to some things to consider. Let's see. Um, that and some things once again because of the situation, okay, and they were things were given into their hand, okay. So a lot of sometimes there are things that we can't change, and we can only pray about it and do what we can to um, you know what I mean, see to it that we can keep um, the commandments to the best of our ability, and the Most High said He's not going to forsake us. So, um, you know, but what some things to remember um, about these situations and about like things that we eat, and when you can at all possible avoid certain things like to willingly be eating, the unclean things. A lot of people come up with so much stuff, and I'm not going into that now. The fact of the matter is, we know that the Messiah did not do away with the law. It doesn't, he didn't. So people come up with a lot of things and they wrestle with the word as it tells you. And Peter, okay, with Paul's writings, a lot of people who are what they're lusting at, they wrestle and struggle with his sayings as if he's saying anything contrary to keeping law, which he is never. He's not. Um, but anyway, but the point being, when we consider how when we read in Second Maccabees about how the people were literally tortured, mutilated, just because they simply didn't want to eat swine, and you know things like this. We have to remind ourselves, even as in Baruch, it tells you, remember the prayers of the dead Israelites. Okay, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about a woman that's drunken with the blood of the saints and the martyrs of the Messiah. Okay, because we're still talking about a system and a beast and a nation that's carrying this whore. This whore is Babylon. It's that wave. It's that mindset, those waves. Okay, um, but still, this is something that we must remember. Okay, um, and I'm gonna go into Jubilees and show you, some things. Look, why our people would not do war on the Sabbath. Um, you know what I mean? Like this was known though. Listen, um, this is First Maccabees 2:34. All right. Um, we have here a host of Israelites that followed the Maccabees. They fled into the mountains. They did not want to anymore defile the laws and commandments of the Most High God, and they were overtaken by a camp of Gentiles and literally murdered because they did not want to profane the Sabbath day. But let's go here. We'll just start at 32. Yeah, let's start at 31. This is First Maccabees 2:31. Now, when it was told the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret places in the wilderness. 32. They pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. And they said unto them, let that which you have done hitherto suffice. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. All right. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and you shall live. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day. So then they gave them the battle with all speed. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid, but said, let us die all in our innocency. Okay, heaven and earth shall testify for us that you put us to death wrongfully. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle to the number of 1,000 people. Okay. I could go on, but that, um, the the, the point is, especially what we read in 1:49, to wit for them to transgress the commandment of their fathers, of the Most High God. Once again, going into Romans 3, what advantage hath the Jew? Much in every way, for chiefly were committed unto them the oracles of the Most High. This was the oracles. This is the holy words and ways and sayings and doings of the Most High God. And I'm gonna go into. I want to get something in Jubilee right quick. Okay, so this is the Book of Jubilees, chapter uh 2. Is this chapter 2? This is chapter 2. Yes, chapter 2. Um, and we'll just start at verse 23. Um, yeah, it's good to start here. Okay, so um, let's start at 20. Okay, I'll start it. Dang. Let's start at 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 at, at 15. All right, this is Jubilees chapter 2 and verse 15. And these four kinds he created on the sixth day, and there were altogether and on earth, and there were altogether 2 and 20 kinds. So let's start that again. Okay, and these four kinds he created on the sixth day, and there were altogether 2 and 20 kinds. And he finished all his work on the sixth day, all that is in the heavens, and on the earth, and in the seas, and in the abysses, and in the light, and in the darkness, and in everything. 17. And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep the Sabbath on the seventh day from all work. And all the angels of the presence, and all in heaven and on earth. Wait a minute, let me read that right. Okay, Slakia 17. And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep Sabbath on the seventh day from all work. And all the angels of the presence, and all the angels of sanctification, these two great classes, he have bidden us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth. And he said unto us, Behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all peoples, and these shall keep the Sabbath day. And I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and I will bless them. As I have sanctified the Sabbath day, and do sanctify it unto myself, even so will I bless them. And they shall be my people, and I will be their power. And I have chosen the seed of Jacob from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn. We read that in Exodus. Okay, and I want to, this is a good precept in Baruch, okay, that he chose to show the way of knowledge. He blessed Jacob with that. Okay, my firstborn son, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever, and I will teach them the Sabbath day, and that they may keep Sabbath thereon from all work. And thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should keep Sabbath with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink and to bless him who has created all things, as he has blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, and that they should keep Sabbath together with us. And he caused his commands to ascend as a sweet savor, acceptable before him all the days. There were 2 and 20 heads of mankind from Adam to Jacob, and 2 and 20 kinds of work were made until the seventh day. This is blessed and holy, and the former also is blessed and holy. And this one serves that one for sanctification and blessing. And to this Jacob and his seed it was granted that they should always be the blessed and holy ones of the first testimony and law, even as he has sanctified and blessed the Sabbath day on the seventh day. He created heaven and earth and everything that he created in 6 days, and Ahiah made the seventh day holy for all his works. Therefore he commanded on his behalf that whoever does any work thereon shall die, and that he who defiles it shall surely die. We're going to go into, some other, okay, but wherefore thou command the children of Israel to observe this day, that they may keep it holy, and not do thereon any work, and not to defile it, as it is holier than all days. And whoever profanes it shall surely die, and whoever does thereon any work shall surely die eternally, that the children of Israel may observe this day throughout their generations, and not be rooted out of the land. For it is a holy day and a blessed day, and everyone who observes it and keeps Sabbath thereon from all his work will be holy and blessed throughout all days like unto us. Declare the Sabbath, declare and say to the children of Israel the law of this day, both that they should keep Sabbath thereon, and that they should not forsake it in the error of their hearts, and that it is not lawful to do any work thereon which is unseemly, to do thereon their own pleasure. And that was the key that I want to get to, especially when I want to go to Isaiah, and also in Jeremiah too, and pretty much all throughout too, and Nehemiah. I mean, it's just so many. I think in Ezra too. I mean, just um, this was one of the things that our people had issue with, and Jeremiah talks about that. And, but what we're reading here is something to consider as to why these people were willing to die, what we read in Maccabees, rather than to do war on the Sabbath or to defile or profane or do anything unholy on the Sabbath. Okay? Um, and they should not prepare anything thereon to be eaten or drunk, and which they had not prepared for themselves on the sixth day in their dwellings. And they shall not bring in nor take out from house to house on that day, for that day is more holy and blessed than any jubilee day of the jubilees. On this we kept Sabbath in the heavens before it was made known to any flesh to keep Sabbath there on the earth. So this is how this was the mindset of our people with understanding. Um, so much so that they and when you read you'll read also in Maccabees like they they died, they were it says that that they should with something or another, but it's like so they then they died because they weren't willing to defile the Sabbath. Or even when you read about certain holy men or the sister and her sons and how they were literally mutilated and horribly murdered, um, just to simply not eat certain meats. Um, but the point being, even I believe it was Eleazar, okay, a well noted, highly esteemed man of the community, refused to even look like he was defiling his temple with the meat with swine. So, this was their mindset, okay, and why they knew how once again the understanding that these are the oracles of the most high power committed unto men, which was the point why I, really wanted to go here. All right. So, and the creator of all things blessed it, and but he did not sanctify all peoples and nations to keep Sabbath on, but Israel alone, them alone, he permitted to eat and drink. Um, Once again, going into that Romans 3. All right, chiefly because unto them were committed these oracles. All right, and to keep Sabbath thereon, and the creator of all things blessed this day which he had created for blessing and holiness for glory above all days. This law and testimony was given to the children of Israel as a law forever unto their generations. So people will often come, and I have a lot of precepts to this, but I want to go to 50. But all right. Once again, reiterating just all the laws. I could start at 50 and 1, but I want to just go to um, well, I'm just started 6, okay? And behold, the command, this is Jubilees 50 and 6. And behold, the commandment regarding the Sabbaths, I have written them down for thee, and all the judgments of its laws. 6 days shalt thou labor, but on the seventh day is the Sabbath of a higher your power. Or it says here, the Lord your God. In it ye shall do no manner of work, ye and your sons, and your men servants, and your maid servants, and all your cattle, and the sojourner also who is with you. And the man that does any work on it shall die. Whoever desecrates the day, whoever lies with his wife, or whoever says he will do something on it, that he will set out on a journey thereon in regard to buying, to any buying or selling, and whoever draws water thereon, which he had not prepared for himself on the sixth day, and whoever takes up any burden to carry it out of his tent or out of his house shall die. Now we understand though that this is um, the situation as to why because when I go to Jeremiah, it's going to be you know um, made very clear because see the point is that yeah I could go into Nehemiah. I mean just but the point being and this is why we should not willfully sin because of grace at this point. Because the grace at this point is because we know that being in captivity, because our people did not do this, and you know, because the Most High judged as a nation, because we've been many times over to put into captivity and things of that sort. But in those situations when someone over you is governing the laws and things, a lot of things you don't have a choice in. A lot of things you don't have a choice in. But if you can, that is the point of grace. All right, especially in this time. If you can, you do it to the best of your ability, especially remembering these things, okay? But I want to get to buying son, whoever drinks water or prepare for himself, which he had not prepared for himself on the sixth day. Whoever takes up any burden to carry, and remember we talk about the in John, I believe chapter 7. Okay, when the man was carrying his bed, and they looked at it as him carrying the burden on the Sabbath, and they did not consider the use righteous judgment, which all ties into to everything, especially now. Like use righteous judgment in the situation that we're in. We can't always do, but we do what we can, especially if we can. Okay, and don't think that the Most High won't make a way for you to keep His ways if you can. He will, and I can certainly attest to that 100%. He will do that for you. He will do it. Okay, but some things you can't avoid in a situation, and that's um, but if you can, okay, that all goes into grace. But I just want to so whoever takes up any burden to carry it out of his tent or out of his house shall die. You shall do no work whatever on the Sabbath day, save what ye have prepared for yourselves on the sixth day, so as to eat and drink and rest and keep Sabbath from all work on that day, and to bless. And this is why I want to go to Isaiah, and to bless the Lord your God, who has given you a day of festival and a holy day, and a day of the holy kingdom. For all Israel is this day among their days forever. Okay, for great is the honor which Ahiah has given to Israel, that they should eat and drink and be satisfied on this festival day, and rest thereon from all labor which belongs to the labor of the children of men, save burning frankincense and bringing oblations and sacrifice before the Lord Lord for days and for Sabbaths. This work alone shall be done on Sabbath days in the sanctuary. Okay, so remember, certain things had to be done. Okay, so other than that, once again, using righteous judgment, what you have to do, you have to do. All right, but other than that, okay, nothing should be being done on the Sabbath. Okay, this work alone shall be done on Sabbath days in the sanctuary of the Lord your God, that they may atone for Israel with sacrifice continually from day to day for a memorial well pleasing before the Lord, and that he may receive them always from day to day according as thou hast been commanded. Any man who does any work thereon, or goes on a journey, or tills his farm, whether in his house or any other place, or whoever lights a fire, or rides on any beast or farm, whether oh yeah, okay yes, sorry, so or rides on any beast, or travels by ship on the sea, and whoever strikes or kills anything, or slaughters a beast or a bird, for whoever catches an animal or a bird or a fish, or whoever fasts, point I wanted to get to, or makes war on the Sabbath. So that's why they understood that they wouldn't make war on the Sabbath. So they were murdered. All right, they were killed because they would not do that. And so this is just things to remember, okay? But that's why he also, when he talks about who or kills, okay, but you remember he said whoever outside of the priest doing the service of the Lord to make atonements for Israel, okay? But because I don't need to go on with that. But when you consider about whoever fasts on the Sabbath too, because when you read in Judah, she would never fast. She fasted all the time, but not on the Sabbath because that's what this is commanded here, not to do that. But um, so now I'm gonna go to Jeremiah. and Nehemiah too. All right, but um, you know, I really want to speed it up, but I want to go to, yeah, I'm gonna go to those, and then I'm just gonna um, I think it's Jeremiah. I'm gonna go to Isaiah too. Okay, because this is something else we need to consider. Okay, so I could just go into oh so many um, instances, but we would be going on it just on and on. So I'm just gonna just get I probably will just, but you could go to Ezekiel 22, chapter 23. It just tells you oh so many times that the Israelites polluted the Sabbath. And, even Jeremiah chapter 17, okay? Even how I want to get that one at least. I want to get that one. And maybe I may get Nehemiah, but okay, so this is Jeremiah 17, and I was actually looking for, I believe it's in Isaiah or it's in Jeremiah, but it talks about how people complained and, rushed the Sabbath to be over so that they could go and do, what it is that they wanted to do. But this is Jeremiah 17, 21. Thus saith the Lord, it says here, take heed to yourselves and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem. And we read in the same thing in Nehemiah. Um, but neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day. Neither do ye any work, but hallow ye the Sabbath day, as I commanded your fathers. But they obeyed not. Neither inclined their ear, but made their neck stiff. Sorry, let me read it right. But they obeyed not. Neither inclined their ear, but made their neck stiff, that they might not hear nor receive instruction. And it shall come to pass, if ye diligently hearken unto me, saith the Lord, to bring in no burden through the gates of this city on the Sabbath day, but hallow the Sabbath day, to do no work therein. Then shall there enter into the gates of this city kings and princes sitting upon the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, they and their princes, the men of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and this city shall remain forever. Um, we could go on, but let's go on. All right, and they shall come from the cities of Judah and from the places about Jerusalem and from the land of Benjamin or Benjamin, as it says here, and from the mountains and from the south, bringing burnt offerings and sacrifices and meat offerings and incense, and bringing sacrifices of praise unto the house of the Lord. But if you will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear a burden, even entering in at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire in the gates thereof, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched. Okay, and this is, um, let's go, I want to go to Nehemiah. Let's just go to Nehemiah right quick. Okay, this is Nehemiah 13. Okay. Um this is Nehemiah, okay, so listen. So Nehemiah 13, and we'll start at 14. Remember me, O my God, concerning this, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my God and for the officers thereof. 15. In those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves, and ladding asses, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which bought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, what evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus? And did not our God bring all this evil upon us? and upon the city, yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. And it came to pass, okay, that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut and charged that they should not be opened until after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set I at the gates that there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. Okay, but I just want to, and it goes into, the marrying of the strange wives here, okay, and how that's what King Solomon did and caused Israel to sin, as I spoke of in the beginning about why the kingdom was split. Okay, he talks about that, and but the key point is that our people continue. They did this, and this is something that let's go to Nehemiah, as I mentioned before, about how, um, okay, the Most High gave that to us. And that is, yeah, this is that's what we went to in Jubilee. Okay, how important this should be. Okay, 9 and 14. Okay, well, I started 13. Okay, I can start it. Well, I'm just for the sake of time, I'll start 13. Thou camest down also upon Mount Sinai and spakest with them from heaven and gavest them right judgments and true laws, good statutes and commandments, and madest known unto them thy holy Sabbath, as we read in Jubilee. He made that known to Israel, as we also go into in Romans 3. Okay, what chiefly unto them was committed the oracles of God, the Most High. Okay, so thou camest down also upon Mount Sinai, spakest with them from heaven, and gavest them right judgment and true laws and good statutes and commandments, and madest known unto them thy holy Sabbath, and commandest them precepts, statutes, and laws by the hand of Moses thy servant. Okay, but I just wanted to go there because so now I'm gonna go. It's so many. It's oh so many, and I'm even gonna get a couple in the New Testament, and then I'm gonna end it. But just the point being that, and then reiterate the point. Okay, that if should you be presented with a situation where you can avoid defiling the Sabbath or profaning the Sabbath, then do that. Do what the Most High says to do, because all of these things should be considering that, regardless of who it is. Isaiah, 50. Let's go to 56. Blessed, okay, is Isaiah 56 and 2. Blessed is the man that doeth it. Let's start at 1. Thus saith the Lord, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, which is why this is all so important. And I'm gonna go into when I end it. Okay, this is also important. Okay, thus saith the Lord, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Okay, blessed is the man that doeth this, and the Son of Man that layeth hold on it, that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and keepeth his hand from doing any evil. All right, let's go to 58. Okay, um, 58 and 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. And that also ties into Jeremiah 17, we read. Okay? And then, I had so many more, but just for the sake of time, I'm just going to go to, even when we read in Acts, all the way up until that point, when you read in Acts 13, chapter 14, I believe, chapter 16, okay, clearly they were always in the synagogues on the Sabbath teaching. Okay, because now this is all the way up to Acts, and you even clearly see, even in is it chapter 1 or 2? Okay, when they were keeping the feast of Pentecost, you read all throughout, especially I want to say around chapter 14. Okay, how they were traveling back to Jerusalem, even in Corinthians. I may have gone into that before. I'm not sure, but yes, how they were going back to Jerusalem to keep the days, the holy days, or the intention, or they were intending to do that. Okay, because nothing was changed, and I believe it really is in Acts chapter 14 when Paul said, okay, he not trying to change any laws. Okay, I probably would get that, but I mean, I don't know where the Spirit take me, but I just want to go to now just the New Testament, okay? Just because let's go to something right quick though, just to reiterate this, okay? The Messiah was the Lord of the Sabbath. However, the point about some of the things that he did on the Sabbath and mentioned on the Sabbath, even about David eating the showbread, okay, was the point of using righteous judgment and reasoning within yourself and using righteous judgment. However, you are to keep the law. Okay? But this is Matthew um 5:17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. Now, this is clear. This is the first thing he says. Don't think that I'm coming to destroy it. When you destroy something, you know what to destroy. Okay, I wonder if I could get the definition of destroy for the sake of time. I mean, I don't know. But let's just get it, okay? Let's get it. Yes, let's just do that. Okay, destroy. Because we have to remember, let's see, destroy. Break to pieces, make useless, ruin, spoil. Okay, put an end to, do away with, counter the effect of, make void. Let's read it again. Break to pieces, make useless, ruin, spoil, put an end to, do away with, deprive of life, kill, counteract the effect of, make void. So let's read it again. Matthew 5:17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Okay? For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot nor one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Whoever therefore shall break one of the least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Okay? For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven, as we mentioned before. And so now I want to go to Exodus right quick. Right quick, I want to go back to Exodus. Exodus 31 and 3. Let's go to Exodus 31 and 3. Um, Okay, no, actually it's 13. Okay, Exodus 31 and 13. Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep. For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that does sanctify you. 14. Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth shall surely be put to death, for whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from amongst his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever doth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. So, key point here, the point of the Messiah fulfilling the law was why? So that people were not what? He fulfilled it, being the ultimate sacrifice, so that you had grace and that you were able to repent and do right. So just as he tells you in Hebrews 10, that when, what did he say here? So that the people under Moses' law was put to death under 2 or 3 witnesses. So that's why the Messiah said He did not come to destroy it. He wants you to keep the law, but he came to fulfill it by giving himself and bringing that grace. That was the point. Let's go to 21 because I really want to go to 20, and then I'm just gonna go to Luke and I'm gonna end up. But the point being that we had to consider all these things. 20. All right, I started at 20, but I stopped here. Okay, at verse 9. We'll start at 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Okay? And that was just the point that I wanted to make about that. The Messiah did not come to destroy the law. Okay, but to fulfill it. And let's just to reiterate that, let's just to make it clear, okay, we're gonna go to Hebrews 10. Was it Romans? I believe it's Hebrews. Hebrews is here we go. 10. Okay. 10. Um we could start here, but it just reiterates and makes it clear. All right. Um it might be 8 what I want. Yeah, no, it is an 8 also. It's an 8 as well, um but let's just go to 16 also. This is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their heart. That's the whole point. That's why you're the temple, as Corinthians says, okay? And Acts 2. We're not made with man's hands, okay? But that's the whole point. Jeremiah 31, I believe also. Yes, 31, okay? This is the point. This is why the physical temple, physical priesthood, all that was done away. That was what was fulfilled when the Messiah came and did this, brought life. Let's read here. Let's read, I mean, brought the grace, okay? Let's understand, even though there was many examples of grace because his mercy endures forever. However, this is the covenant that, and he's very merciful, as it says throughout, and yes, he is, and bless him, okay? And thank you, because we need his mercy so desperately. I sure know I do. But this is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds will I write them. And their sins and iniquities will I remember no more, because now it's going to be in your heart. It's not going to be on stony tables. It isn't going to be a physical thing where it's just a law you're forced to do. I've gone into that before. But I want to go here to verse 26 here. Um, um, all right, 26. For if we sin, and 25 is very relevant to a lot of things that I speak of, but I'm not going to go there right this right now. But let's go to 24 though, because this is very important for our people to understand and remember how important it is to have being led by that spirit. Okay, let us hold fast to the profession of our faith without wavering. Perfect precept to James. Okay, and all throughout, and Revelations 3. Okay, being hot and cold. Okay, I'm gonna get them. What else? Where it's all throughout. Unstable man is unstable in all his ways. I mean, it's just so many, but good. Okay. Um, for if we, but this is 24, and let us consider one another. Oh, no, I was at 23. Let us hold fast to the profession of our faith without wavering. Very key to everything that I even mentioned, especially in the beginning. Okay, we can't be wavering. We have to be straightforward with it. We have to. That's where it all comes in. Okay, if you're not wavering and you are professing and showing by your works your faith and your love to our God, you're going to do what He says to do. All right, and keep the commandments. Okay, if you love me, keep my commandments. All right, let us hold fast to the profession of our faith. Let us hold fast to the profession, so we're not going to be honoring with our lips but hearts being far from Him, because we're not doing when it comes down to it. So let's read it again. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for He is faithful that promise, because He's going to do what He said He was going to do. So we have to also not only just profess with our mouth, but do, okay? Because He's going to hold His end up. All right. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. Okay. And that is what we need to do. And that also is a good precept to Corinthians. Okay. That we persuade each other. We persuade um, um, our brethren to do right, be, knowing the terror of our God, but also because it's good for us too, though. Like, but and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, very key, okay, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. Perfect precept is Zephaniah 2. All right. For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, this is really what I wanted to get to. For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin. See, because that was what was fulfilled. Because the ultimate sacrifice came and did what He was supposed to do. And the blessed and holy, beautiful thing of it is He's alive. And for if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment, of fire and fire. And let me read it right. But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. 28. All tying into what I just went into in Exodus and into when we were talking about in Matthew, okay, how He didn't come to destroy but fulfill. Because listen, he that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses, okay. But of how much sorer punishment suppose ye shall he be thought worthy, who have trodden under foot the Son of God, and have counted the blood of the covenant wherewith He was sanctified an unholy thing, and have done despite unto the Spirit of grace. Okay? So by willfully sinning, you are counting His blood a light thing. What He did for us, a light thing. Okay? How much sorer judgment do you think that is going to come upon those that do that? And that was the thing, you know. The fact of the matter is, okay, I wanted to that let's just, and I'm gonna end it with I might just end it here, but let's go to. Actually, I could. I mean, that really pretty much is the gist. I had so many more, but that was just the whole point. That was just the whole point, especially that right there. I really, on that note, okay, that yes, that's clear. I mean, really, um, the point is that if you can at all, okay, that's why He said willfully. When you willfully do something, it means that you have a choice in the matter, and you willfully do despite. And so that was the whole point of what I was, what was said to me, and it made me feel a certain way. And I'm like, well, but I have to even remember with myself, okay? I have to remember, Matthew, okay? If you love anyone, mother, father, daughter, son, whatever, more than the Most High, and you have a choice in the matter of, and you can do what it is to honor. If you have a choice in the matter, once again, we talk about willfully, despite the grace, okay? Now, we understand the situation we're in. So if it's at all avoidable, then you willfully do it. See, that's when you are taking that for granted, and that is what I wanted to bring out. Regardless of who it is or whatever, if it is something to make you go against the commandment and you can avoid it, then do what the Most High says to do. Do and remember and consider all the things that our forefathers, died for, and you know were persecuted, and we still are to this day terribly. The true, sincere followers of the Messiah. Okay, but we consider what Paul said. We haven't strived unto blood, but you just don't know. You never consider the cruelty of men until you really consider. Our minds are so distracted with so many carnal things. But yes, that's what I'm gonna end it with, because that's what I wanted to go to, and I said I was going to go to that. All praise to the Most High. Okay, what it is that you are seeking, what it is that you are seeking. Um, yeah. Uh, let's see. I could just. I'm just going to. I'm gonna start at this Matthew chapter 6, and I'm just going to end it there. Okay, this is Matthew chapter 6 verse 20. Um, well, I'll start at 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, carnal things, right? Okay, physical, right? Okay, and where thieves break thorough and steal. Okay, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break thorough nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. All tying into what I mentioned before. Here we go. Okay, the light of the body is the eye. What is it to you that you're calling light? What is it to you that you're calling valuable and knowledgeable, even? That all included in it, because what certain light or knowledge to acquire what it is you want to acquire determines your actions. Okay, all right. So the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, okay, one minded in something, all right, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters. You can't be wavering. You can't be double minded. You can't be hot and cold. You have to be that single, and you have to know what it is that you are seeking in this life. All right. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment? Okay, there's more to it. Okay, consider Deuteronomy and Luke and Matthew 4, chapter 4. Okay, um, okay, was this Deuteronomy chapter 8? And yeah, and Luke chapter 4, Matthew chapter 4. Okay, you don't live on bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High, or of God, as the scripture says, though. But okay, um, yeah. So and the body then raiment. Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns. Yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit unto his stature? You can't make yourself taller. See, it's a certain things of the Most High you can't change. All right. And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these, because the Most High makes them, He creates them, He forms them, He does that. So even, point being of the things of the hand of the Most High, and then of men, and you know what I mean? Like, and yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, God praises, okay? Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Okay? So something that as soon as the season change is gone, or even can be plucked up, or in how beautiful he can make it, that's still just a flower. How much more worthy are you? So don't put too much thought into, once again, the things of this world that is said that you should have and look like and be like, and put all of your all, or light seeking into getting those things that moth and rust can corrupt. All right. But so how much more worthy are you than that? He clothes them. He clothes the field beautifully with these lilies and flowers, but yet they be gone just like that when the season change. How much more? But even that's when that was it. But that's just the concept of it, okay? But how, wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall He not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? So He will give you what you need. Um, you know, don't be put so much into material things. That, you know what I mean? Like, for after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that you have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought of the things of itself. Because in reality, we all know that the Most High already knows. It's already written and He already knows. Okay? So you should be striving to please Him, because He's going to take care of you. All right? Don't put so much into this and that for the tomorrow, because those things will come and they will take thought for themselves. Um, you know what I mean? Like, don't put so much into whereas though you have to go against and make, once again, your knowledge all about getting material gain. All right, therefore, take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Okay, so sufficient for the day. What suffice for that day? Okay, all, whether it's going to be this or that, whatever, it's in that day, it's going to be what it is, and the Most High knows what you need. Okay, the Most High knows what you need before you ask. And so, the point of it was that, certain things may seem a certain way, and it's like, oh, um, whatever, whatever, it's according to a worldly standpoint. But once again, if it would cause you to, if you have a option, or the choice to do as the Most High said to do, then don't, um, you know what I mean, transgress the commandment, considering, you know, the grace and all the things that we read, what people were willing to not have to do, to not break or trespass the commandment of our God. And so, hopefully that will bring some charity to someone, and some comfort to someone that may be wrestling with that, or um, you know um, or thinking of that. And once again, also always pray to the Most High, first and foremost. But that's what His word is here for, and all the testimonies are here for that purpose. So yep. And so with that, it is the Sabbath, so I will hopefully that bless someone, and I certainly was blessed, and with that, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom.